Right, the African Cup of Nations final, it's Senegal versus Egypt. And before we get to the game, I just want to make it clear, I'm not afraid to say it, the standard's been pony. On paper, the best two teams are Nigeria and Ivory Coast. Casual fans will say Ivory Coast, but proper fans will actually look at Nigeria's team, look at some of the players, the squads they play for and their record this year. And remember, Nigeria didn't have Osamini, I think his name is the one from Napoli, or Denisco. And the Ivory Coast has got Sahar, Pepe, Hala. They're the best two teams on paper, and they went out very early on. I think Ghana, who went out early, Cameroon, and the two finalists, Senegal and Egypt, have okay-ish squads with star players, but a lot of the chuff in there with them. Arguably the best two players in the finals as overall are Mane and probably the best player in the world, Salah. So reasons why they've got this far is because they're that good. Simple as. Salah just brings something to a very average team with a player like Mohamed Ali, who was just about to start for Norwich, starring for them. So that says everything. Look, the standard's not very good. And I called an 0-0 draw for Egypt, Cameroon, and I can't see this being any different. It's been funny, entertaining moments, but come on, let's be realistic. This is like National League standard. A lot of these nations that have been in it won't even be in the National League, South and North. It's just me being honest. And people want to disagree. I don't tend to offend, but it is just awful football. Salah and Mane will lift the teams and show quality, but when you've got players who play in the German fourth league playing with them, it's hard to even play well if you're that good. Don't see many chances. Both teams rather not lose than win. This is going to penalties. That's a cert. 0-0. Egypt win 5-3 on penalties. Boring, but realistic.
So as much as I can see where Graham's coming from with the criticism of the football, I think you do have to take a bit of the factors into play on this one though. I agree it's not great to watch. It's obviously far lower standard than we're used to watching at international tournaments, but it's not really their fault. You look at some of the pitches, you look at the state of the referees, and obviously just the international teammates that these players are playing with. So you've got some world-class players like Salah and Mane, but their teammates are not to the level that they're used to performing at. So nothing's going to change unless there's funding, unless you build academies and you build football in Africa. That's the only way this is going to get better. Otherwise it's just going to be the same as we're used to watching. Not a lot of goals, a lot of extra time and penalties, tough physical football. So unless funding comes and there's cultural changes, it's always going to be the way. But I think it is easy to knock, but you have to take factors into play here. So having a look at the two teams now. So Egypt, they've been very lacklustre all the way through the tournament. Lost 1-0 to Nigeria, followed by a couple of 1-0 wins to get through the group. And then they've proceeded to go to extra time and penalties pretty much in every game. And have just sort of like battled their way through rather than actually winning them. Got the best player in the world and doesn't seem like they're using him or playing to his strengths, so to speak. So I think they've been a bit underwhelming, if I'm being honest. You look at Senegal, they faltered to start with, slow starting, but when you look at those games, the scoreline doesn't tell it all. If you look at the possession, the stats, they were dominating those games. They were just not taking the chances, but they did come to play. There's a difference between trying to stink the game out and get to penalties and trying to play to win. And I think Senegal have done that. And if there's any justice, their football will win this. And I think if you look at the players, Mane's had a better tournament than Salah. So I think, again, if you're looking at the two best players on show, I think Mane deserves this slightly more than Salah, just from the way the tournament's gone. Had his big head injury, they were worried if he was going to play or not. Got through that, scored goals before and since that, so I think he's done really well, and I think it would be justice if they won this game. So a 2-0 or 3-1 win for Senegal is what should happen, but unfortunately I'm going to have to agree with Graham on this one, that I think it is going to be a dull game, and it's going to be due to Egypt not coming to play. They're going to sit, contain, frustrate, and they're going to be happy with 0-0 for as long as possible. They'll take penalties before the game's kicked off. put money on that. They're happy with penalties. Everyone keeps going on that they've been practicing the penalties. That's why, because it's the only way they can win games. So, with that said, I think, same like Graham, it's going to be 0-0. It's going to be horrible to watch. Egypt are going to win on penalties. Mo Salah's probably going to get the winning penalty, and it's going to be all about him. He'll get African Player of the Year and all the plaudits, but it'd be Mane that deserved it. But it is going to be Egypt, and they'll win on penalties.